it is always a good idea to practice teamwork and collaboration. This lesson plan is a great way to do that while you're reviewing family vocab for your unit. Let's get right into it. Hi, my name is Ashley, aka Senior to Spanish. We provide easy-to-use resources to save you time and energy while you're lesson planning. If you're new here, I just want to make sure that you know that links to everything that I mentioned will be down in the description box below. So this is an escape room style challenge game for reviewing and practicing Familia vocabulary with your novice Spanish students. In this challenge, students work in groups or pairs to complete the tasks and eventually solve their way to the end of the challenge. So how it works is students will either work individually, in small groups, or in pairs to complete all 7 tasks. As they finish the tasks, they'll bring them to you and you'll give them a scan or use the answer key to make sure they did it right, and then you're going to hand them a family member, and as they finish the family members, they're going to color them, cut them out, and then add them to their photo frame. When they're all done, they will have a complete picture of the family. You can either have them race other groups, race a clock, or just try to finish within the class period, totally up to you. To set this activity up, there are no locks. You don't have to hide anything. You don't have to tape anything under any tables or anything sneaky like that. You don't have to pay anything extra to have special boxes or anything like that. It's just solve the puzzles to complete the task and move on. It's very simple. Just make copies, organize your teams, and you're ready to go. You can decide if you want to make just one copy of the activity per group or if you want every single student to have their own copy of the activity. I would make that decision based on how big your groups are going to be. If it's going to be pairs working together, you probably just need one. If you're going to have like 5 or 6 kids in a group, I would probably make copies for every single student, just because if you're talking about 6 people trying to see one piece of paper, that's kind of tricky, right? And you want them to get the practice and the review that comes from doing this escape room style challenge. They'll also need coloring supplies, scissors, and glue. Really nothing crazy. And finally, I recommend that you have a copy of the answer keys. And that's just because they're going to be coming up to you and saying, okay, I finished this. Is it right? And it's so much easier for you, especially if you have like a bunch of different groups coming up all at once, for you to just flip to task 1, say, yep, okay, done. Flip to task 7. Okay, yep, good, you're good. It's just so much easier if you have that as a quick reference. Not because you can't, right, look at this very novice level worksheet, but because of that like race feeling and that they're going to be trying to get things done as quickly as they can. You want to be able to give them feedback right away as quickly as you can. So let's look at how this actually looks when you do the lesson during class. As always, I start class with the start of class routine, and I have a whole video where I explain what that looks like here in case you want to check it out. Then we do our daily routine as usual, and again, I have a video where I talk about the different daily routines that I like to do during class. Then we get into the escape room style challenge. After we've done the start of class routine and the daily routine, then we'll get into this, and that might make it a little bit tight on finishing, so you might wind up needing 2 class periods for this. And it might just be, hey, we're trying to get as much of this challenge done in the 35 minutes that we have. Or you might say, okay, class A, we're going to use 2 days to do this. This is how much time you have, and you start a timer on the screen and you can pause it at the bell. Up to you. And it really depends, right? If you're in a block, you probably won't need to do that because you have like 90 minutes. It's just going to depend a little bit on your setting. So after you've done your start of class routine, your daily routine, you're going to split your students up into groups or into pairs, and then you're going to get them going by giving them the challenge sheet. That's this, the one that I already showed you with the family photos. Then they're going to get started on the tasks. The tasks are as follows. Palabra misteriosa, where they're going to match the definition to the family vocabulary, and then they're going to find a mystery word down at the bottom. Corre en círculos, where they're going to solve a scavenger hunt style puzzle. If you're familiar with my Corre en círculos sets, this one is a little bit smaller, so that way it's not like, oh my gosh, they're doing a whole scavenger hunt in the middle of this escape room style challenge, because that would be kind of a lot. So this one's a little bit different than usual. Task number 3 is mira y escribe, where they're going to look at this photo of a family tree, and they're going to write sentences based on the relationship that they see in the photo. Task number 4, they're going to read a short reading that, as you might expect, really emphasizes family vocabulary. And there's 2 versions of the reading, one with and without vocabulary down here at the bottom, just because, right, you know your students best, you know what levels they're at. Some of them might need that glossary, and you might prefer to use the version without the glossary and add words that you know that they're going to need instead in that space. Just depends on what your students need. So for task 4, they're going to use this reading, and then they're going to do a color by number sheet based on the information that they get from the reading. Task number 5, they're going to use a family tree to try and find their way through a maze based on the statements and the information that they see on the family tree. For task number 6, they have another reading, and then they're going to do a true and false activity where they're highlighting true or false statements and finding a mystery word. And for task number 7, they are going to unscramble sentences so that they are correctly written to describe the family tree that they'll be able to reference. As they finish each task, they're going to bring it to you. And this is why I recommend that you have the answer key handy, because again, there's going to be that sense of urgency as they're rushing to complete the tasks before the end of the time that they have available. So you're going to look at their sheet and you're going to decide really quickly, like yes or no. Maybe you're going to give them some feedback, and maybe you're just going to say, nope, not right, go back and try again. Totally up to you and your students and how you want to handle that, right? I know for me, some of my students need a little bit more feedback, and some of them do really well with, nope, this isn't right, try again. Just kind of depends. If they did it correctly, you're going to give them a piece of paper with a corresponding family member on it. So like if you look up here, each of them have the family member that goes with it on the sheet of paper. So like this is task 5, and they know when they complete task 5, they're going to get this guy, and they'll be able to color him and add him to their photo frame. The skills emphasized in this challenge are describing family relationships, using Sarah to describe somebody, using Tenaire to talk about age, using Tenaire to describe family members someone has, and possessive adjectives and ownership with day. This is a great way to do a review for the end of your family unit because there's no locks, there's no hiding anything. You can just print, make your copies, and go. It is super simple for you, but super engaging for them because that collaboration and that race aspect, right? Your competitive kids are going to love this, and your puzzling kids are going to like it's puzzles. Like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, all of those resources are linked down in the description box below for you to download and use. And if you're looking for more activities you can do during your family unit, you might like my video here with 10 different activities and resources you can use in your own family unit. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.